Whether you're investing in a business or building or buying a business, avoid low-skilled businesses. In this series, Intel Brief, we discuss current market data, insights, anything to support you in being a better investor, businessman, or woman. Welcome to the Red to Black podcast, hosted by Werner and Mario. Mario, what are your thoughts on the 10 million jobs right now that companies are having a hard time finding potential hirees for?
Yeah, you absolutely want to avoid low-skilled businesses because you're competing with the government and you're competing with technology platforms. So if you're paying $17 an hour or less, and I went to an In-N-Out burger yesterday, wonderful experience. Professional staff. I talked to a young man behind the counter, very professional, 17-year-old man. He's going to do well in life. He's working at In-N-Out burger. I have nothing but admiration for the whole situation. He's getting paid $17 an hour, very first job. Over the count, on the record, very first job he's ever had. He's been there a couple months. 17-year-old guy. He's getting $17 an hour, and there's a help wanted sign all over the building. Everywhere is help wanted, $17 an hour. Why? Because people are competing with the government. That business is competing with the government. You can get paid probably, so $17 an hour times 2,000 is roughly $35,000 a year. Maybe there's 32. Math in public, not my strong suit. It's roughly $35,000 a year that you're competing with. And the government might pay you about $35,000 a year not to work and have a YouTube channel or sail around the world. Which would you rather do as a low-skilled worker? Start a YouTube channel and sail around the world, or flip burgers at In-N-Out for $17 an hour and pay taxes on that? Unless you have kids and a family, you're not going to get a earned credit tax refund or tax credit, earned income tax credit. It's not going to happen unless you have a wife and kids or you're a single mom or something like that. So stay away. Don't create them. Don't invest in them. Don't build them. Don't buy them. Stay away from businesses that have low-skilled employees. You don't want employees that make less than 70 grand a year. You do not want to be competing with the government for people on payroll. You don't want to be. You do not want the government or the Fed supporting the government through debt competing with your business. Do not go into business. If the average employee isn't making 70,000 plus a year, don't be in that kind of business. Warner, your thoughts?
Yeah. So what Mario is talking about is the service industry really has transitioned. He's talking about three different choices that an individual has when they're sort of starting off. They have the opportunity to give a little bit more context to what Mario was saying, to go into like the YouTube realm, create your own media platform. That's what he meant by sailing the world. Number two, go work for In-N-Out for $17. Or number three, take some sort of government assistance, whether it's unemployment or welfare, whatever it is.
Or student loans, subsidized student loans. Why would I go work there? I can go to college and get paid to hang out in college campus, drink beer, do what you do in college. And I don't have to work for $17 an hour and pay taxes on it. I can get a low-cost student loan. I'll load up on debt.
Yeah, so here's the challenge in what we're talking about. We're kind of in this hybrid business environment where you have the government contributing to 60% of GDP. They have now, as Mario said, have turned the service job into a commodity. Before, it was like the private sector was competing for those service jobs. So you could go into the service job, you could upgrade to the next job, but now with all this government regulation, it's like the service job, then there's a few managers, then you hit a ceiling. And it's like, oh, I don't know where to go next. And it's like, why do I want to do that when Mario said I'm getting taxed? Or I could go get welfare, student aid, whatever it is, some sort of government assistance. Or I could go just hit in the trenches. I'm in my parents' house. I could go form a media business. Like the advent of social media has turned everyone into a potential content media house because of social media opened up user-generated content. So that's what we're dealing with. That's why we're talking about this Intel brief, understanding the landscape, whether you're investing in a business, buying a business, or building a business. You really, really want to know, like, high operating margin business. How am I going to build that? And want to think about these things. Maybe you'll have some low skill workers. We're not saying stick far away from low skill workers. What we're saying is the core portion of that business is really like high skilled, or it doesn't take a lot of people to run that business. This is a real simple business. Any more thoughts on that, Mario?
Don't compete with the Fed. Don't compete with the government. I'll just kind of I'll tie that into a different angle. Is that it's gonna be a nightmare. You're gonna not sleep at night. You don't want to be competing with those entities. I'm not saying the Fed is all powerful. They're not. There's a limited amount of power, but they're very powerful, and you don't want to compete with the Fed. The U.S. government, the federal government, they're not all powerful, but they're very powerful. You don't want to compete with the government. You want to be in the blue ocean. You want to be competing, hopefully, in a high margin business with where your competitors aren't really having to swim that hard. Your competitors are taking it easy. They're kind of resting on their laurels. You want to be in a space where if you're working hard and you're constantly trying to improve and trying to be more efficient and trying to improve your process and improve your business, you're going to do fine. Everybody's doing fine in this space. And oh, by the way, those guys aren't even they're lazy. These inherited the business. They're not even really, they're doing well and they're not even trying to do well. That's what you want to go into. You don't want to be in the fast food business. You don't want to be in low skilled businesses because you're competing with the Fed and the government. That's my final thoughts, Warner. Over.
One way to sort of determine if you're in this type of business or you're about to go into it, when you start building your business, are people kicking down your door to want to come work with you? Or are they going, maybe I'm going to work for you, or the government's paying? They won't even tell you this. They'll just say, what you'll see is no one will show up for your job. When you open your doors as you're building your business, you want to create a business where people are kicking down the doors. Now, maybe you're paying someone $17 to $20 an hour, but it's not necessarily low skill because your upward mobility, it's a starting point. You're like doing media content, or you're doing editing, or you're doing video shoots, whatever it is, that's unique. That starts out at 20, but it's more of a medium to high skill business. And then you're working up in that business. People are kicking. So are people kicking down the door to get into your business or potential business that you want to invest in or buy? Are those employees kicking down the door, or potential employees to become an employee at that business? That's what I would say is my final thought. Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. We ask you to subscribe, like, comment. We look forward to connecting with you in the future. Thank you so much.